Hello, subscribers and non-subscribers, and welcome back to ChäoS. So I do want to go ahead and mention I am sorry that there was no episode last week. In fact, I'm actually recording this last week because the week before I was not able to go ahead and squeeze in a 30-minute recording, or well, just period, a recording at all for ChäoS. And since I decided to adjust my uploading schedule to where I will basically always be recording for next week, it means you guys basically didn't get an episode for basically 2 weeks. And as I said, that's simply because I decided to change my uploading schedule, because if I manage to keep to this, you guys should always get an episode every week. After obviously the initial little setback due to me, as I said, just not quite having the time to squeeze in a recording for ChäoS. Oh yes. Okay, 1 second. Okay, I had to go and answer the phone real quick. Let me go ahead and get my timer set up real quick before I actually start. Where the hell is it in here? Clock. 30 minutes, that's fine. Go ahead and put it on the charger. And let me go ahead and load up the save. Yes. Okay, and start. Now, I think this was read aloud at the end of last episode, and I wasn't quite happy with it because, quite frankly, I did not want to have to end the episode off basically in the middle of a conversation. But whatever. Too late now. Let's see. Well, let me tell him to really say it. Yes.
視界にはデッドスポットと呼ばれる通常は使用されることのないいくつかの神経チャンネルが存在することをご存知ですか？
それが第二世代と何か関係があるのかね？
そういうことになります。簡単な実験をしてみましょう。これをご覧ください。
子供騙しを聞いている暇はないぞ。
重要なことですよ。この図には左側にドット、右側にリングがあります。
I would say a circle, but I guess technically a ring works as well.
では、左目を手で覆って見えないようにしてください。
And clearly you all should follow along as well.
そのまま右目だけで図の左側にあるドットを見つめてください。いかがですか？ドットを見つめる目の端の方にリングも存在しますか？
いくらドットだけを見つめていても、隣にあるリングがついでに見えているのは当然だと思うがな。
I gotta take off my glasses if I want to play along with what they're doing, just so I can figure out what the hell they're talking about, realistically speaking.
では先生、ドットだけを見つめたままモニターに顔を近づけていってみてください。隣のリングはどうなりますか？
ほう、これは
興味深いね。
右側のリングが消えた。そうですね。
I guess technically it does, depending on where exactly you move your face towards the monitor. I mean, if you move your face towards the center, yeah, I can still see it decently well on my peripheral, but maybe I'm just not close enough.
これは視界が狭まったからではありません。その証拠に、さらにモニターに近づくことで、リングはまた視界に現れます。
これは一体どんなトリックだ？
いいえ、トリックの類ではありません。普段は使用されていないですが、人間が元から持っている目の機能の一つですよ。
I can kind of imagine the guy who was supposed to be essentially writing the story for this specific section of dialogue. Probably spent quite a bit of time actually trying to see if all this stuff worked while he was writing it, so that if other people tried it, they'd go, "Oh, hey, it works as well!"
これはデッドスポットと呼ばれ、
Well, I mean, I would refer to it as a blind spot, but I guess dead spot works as well.
ノアによって人間の視界の中に無から有を作り出す際に使用するチャネルなのです。
Classes had ended and I stood by the exit. The sky was shifting to the color of twilight and several crows flapped their wings and flew away without cawing. I was waiting for Remy to come. She had cleaning duty. It wasn't that we'd promised to leave school together today, but I was sure she would, for me. I'd already stood here for over 15 minutes in hopes of that. I'd had no idea what would happen in the morning, but somehow I managed to pass most of the day peacefully and safely. Misumi, too, had been so wrapped up in talking to the transfer student that he hadn't pursued the subject of me and Ayase any further. I owed it all to the transfer student, really. You know, I really don't remember what we've done last. I'm just going to go ahead and roll the dice. 1, 2, and 3, I'm going to go with the green. 4, 5, and 6 will go with red. And then, hopefully, if I manage to keep to doing an episode every week, I'll actually remember what I did the previous week. I mean, I could write it down on a sticky note, but screw that. So, I got a 3, so we're going to go with the green. We're going to go with a good delusion. I'm pretty sure green is generally supposed to be good delusions, while red is generally bad delusions. And I think, technically speaking, there are some scenes where you can actually not pick either option. If you just keep going, it'll basically go with no delusion. But, where's the fun in that? The fun's in all the delusions. Speak of the devil, here she was, passing beside me. Who knows, we might get a good thumbnail. She lowered her head to me with a face that seemed to be on the verge of tears. I'm not sure why. I mean, we haven't done anything to her. Especially nothing to warrant tears. Despite my discomfort, I somehow succeeded in nodding back. I watched her back as she tripped off toward the school gate. Once again, I thought to myself that she was small. She had a lolly physique on top of that. She was klutzy. I didn't know her well or anything, but she appeared to have a wholesome personality. Moe traits up the wazoo. But the girls didn't seem to care for her. What people value sure differs between the second and third dimensions. All of a sudden, my field of sight went black. Something put pressure on my eyes. What? Surely this wasn't. Said to exist solely in the 2D world, numbered among the urban legends of the 3D world, the notorious Who Is It? To think that a day would come when I'd experience it for real. Right now, as of this second, I'd become one of life's winners. No, wait. Calm down. Wasn't it unthinkable to encounter this urban legend in the third dimension? I see. This was a delusion. A delusion all the way. After all, it was an urban legend. They're called urban legends because no one can figure out for sure whether or not they really exist. It sure surprised me. I was beginning to regain a little of my composure. If this were a daydream, I wanted to wake up right away, because I'd only feel glum when I returned to reality. No, since I was already here, I might as well savor this manifestation of a mushy, lovey-dovey urban legend to my heart's desire. Actually, I already get it. Hint or no hint, I only needed to hear her voice to know. I spent a day after day training myself to recognize who a voice actor was simply by hearing one of their anime characters talk. I'm definitely not a seiyuu otaku, but it's a natural accomplishment for someone who watches anime. Not really. Frankly, I don't really give a crap as to who voices a character. Hell, I don't give a crap about who plays a character in movies and anything live action. So I would not necessarily go so far as to say it's a normal thing. And, people have fairly distinct voices, so... At the end of the day, the whole who is it... When you say who is it, people will know who it is. If they've heard your voice before and they know your name, obviously. You just gave out the answer. What a silly Billy. But you're so adorable, Remy. There was a single reason I couldn't reply. Though I knew the answer, I was embarrassed by the prospect of saying her name. Well, it's a delusion, so I can take it easy.
Me.
As she took her hands away, I opened my eyes. When I turned around, Remy was standing there, just as expected. Huh? I hadn't woken up from my daydream yet. Normally this would be where the twist arrived, making me come back to myself. I expertly pinched my cheek. No, that's not right. That's the method by which you determine whether you're asleep or awake, but dreams and delusions aren't so different in the first place, so not totally the wrong way to go about it. Maybe hold up my... wait, what? Okay, can we get some actual punctuation in here, because this is a little bit of a pain to actually read. It feels as though it's a little all over the place. Aren't so different in the first place and not totally the wrong way to go about it. Yeah, I think this needs some punctuation. I think it needs a comma after the about it. This would be like, maybe, wait, hold up, my cheeks hurts. Or my cheek hurts. Had it all been a part of reality? As soon as I realized that, I instantly grew bashful. Unable to withstand it, I lowered my face. So Remy said, but her cheeks too appeared to be dyed faintly red. Was it the fault of the setting sun? Maybe. My school, Suame Academy, is located in the high-class residential district of Shuto. The individual houses are large, and from them oozes the sense that people there have come out on top. Except, even though it was in Shibuya, and even in the middle of the day, not many people walked around here, so something about the area also felt a little lonely. She made me do a spit take. What the heck was she saying? Remy chuckled and poked the tip of my nose with her pointer finger. You're not supposed to point at people. If you know, then why? I have got to clean my monitor. I don't know, I think this game is the one that's really making me notice some of the things that really mean I gotta clean my monitor, but it'll never happen. I'd much rather just replace the thing at some point in the near future, probably sometime later this year. Yes, and I guess I probably should have mentioned this actually at the start, but I've decided to go ahead and just record these episodes at 60 FPS, also render them at 60 FPS. Of course, this means render times will increase slightly, but it's mostly just because, to be honest, I don't really care to have to switch Bandicam between 30 and 60 when I go from recording this to something else. So, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and stick with recording this at 60 FPS going forward, even if this means render times go up, and even if it means that some people may not be able to necessarily play the video as well due to not having enough bandwidth. It had certainly occurred to me as of late. Have I begun truly living in real life? Had my popular phase arrived? Etc. A situation I couldn't have imagined a month earlier. Back then, I hadn't even had the opportunity to talk to 3D girls, Nanami aside. And I'd stubbornly, exaggeratedly, insisted that I didn't have any interest in 3D girls. Why, over this past month, had I crossed paths with girls so much more frequently? Everything had begun from my chat with Shogun. Which was why, once in a while, I thought, maybe all the events of this month were my delusions. Maybe I'd been seeing a long, long dream the whole time. I had the feeling that it wouldn't be odd if my current situation vanished like mist tomorrow. Or maybe... Or else, maybe the person behind me had changed. The former person behind me had liked playing mutely on his own, but the new one preferred to cooperate with other players, or something. In any case, I didn't have any true sense of whether this past month had been real or imaginary. Too many things had kept happening.
っていうか、私今日初めて知ったんだけど、フェスって同じ学校だったんだね。しかも同学年の隣のクラス。
Rimi's tone of voice grew feverish. Rimi might be something of a crowd follower.
昨日タクから CD 借りたばっかりだからすごくびっくりしちゃった。それにすごく可愛い子だし。
Rimi came around in front of me, walking backwards while facing me. She lowered her voice and inquired cautiously.
何話してたの？今朝フェス岸本さんと聞かせてほしいな。私には聞く権利なんてないかもって思うけど、でも岸本さんと話してた時のタクすごく思い詰めた様子だったからなんだか心配で。
She'd seen even that. It might be okay to tell Rimi every single little thing. I had no one else to talk to about it, and it was exhausting to agonize over it on my own. I wanted to hear someone else's opinion. Not someone who spoke purely in abstractions like Ayase and Senna, someone who gave me a clear answer, as in, it's like this. But then again, she hadn't believed a thing I told her yesterday.
話してたのは剣のこと。
剣って昨日タクが言ってたやつ。
I answered with a nod.
綾瀬は持ってるんだ。
何を？
Well, I wouldn't say it has one. As in the number one.
本物を。
I thought I heard Rimi sucking a breath. Eyes wide, she tottered a few steps backward.
嘘だ。
She sounded even more dubious.
だってあれおもちゃでしょ？
だから僕のはおもちゃだけど、彼女のは本物で、ライブ行けば見られ。
Oh, that seemed a lot shorter than it should have been. I had second thoughts as soon as I started to say it. Would she be able to see it? Ayase had said only people with the power could see D-swords.
ライブに行けばその本物の剣を見られるの？じゃあ今度行ってみようかな。ファンタズムのライブそのものも見たいし。あ、タク一緒に行く？
見られないかも。限られた人にしか見えないらしいんだ。
あ、そうなんだ。裸の王様みたいなものかな。じゃあ私バカだから見えないかも。なんてね。
I wonder. For starters, I didn't have any conception of how a real D-sword worked as a device. I was simply taking everything Ayase had said at face value.
そんな剣本当にあるのかな。やっぱり私信じられないよ。タクが見たっていう岸本さんの剣も本物っぽく見えるおもちゃじゃないの？
でも光ったし。
おもちゃでも光るやつはいくらでもあるよ。
She's got a point there. Good point. If you wanted to stick some decorations on it, that could be accomplished easily enough. Except the compulsory force and presence of Ayase and Senna's swords, I couldn't bring myself to deny it. They possess an aura that a knockoff simply couldn't duplicate. And more than anything, Ayase had drawn her sword out of nothingness. It definitely wasn't something as low class as super speed or hypnotism. In that act of hers, I had tasted a far more unbelievable power.
僕には妄想を現実に投影する力があるかも。
Okay, I get a feeling now we're going to be getting to the part that's supposed to make this a good delusion. Assuming it is actually supposed to be a delusion. That is indeed a interesting point. It may not actually be a delusion right now. I didn't have a scrap of proof for myself, but I tried mentioning one of my ideas.
だから将軍に、狙われてる気がする。
Because there was no other person for him to target. What? Because there's no other reason for him to target me. I don't know why I said person. Now many people out there were as harmless to others as me. Otaku are fundamentally harmless since they shut themselves up in their own world. If they got the free time to cause trouble for 3D people, they'd rather play around with cute moe 2D characters in their heads.
昨日調べてた特許のこと？タクはあんな装置持ってるの？
I shook my head.
そうじゃなくて、装置とかなくても力使えるかも。
タクからかってるんでしょ？あ、わかった。何かの漫画かアニメが元ネタ？
Ruby wouldn't believe me after all. But I remember doing it myself, the accident when I was in elementary school. I desperately explained it to Remy. That I might be a murderer. I knew she might abandon me once I confessed, but I couldn't stop myself from saying it. I wanted to clear away the fog of doubts in me by talking to someone. Remy silently listened to my stuttering explanation, a complex look on her face when she had heard me out to the end.
考えすぎだよ。
She laughed it away as if nothing had happened.
そう考えてることだってタクの妄想なんだよ。わかってる？
So she's saying it's delusional to think that you are delusional. To put it in a fairly simple sense. Was I thinking too much? Maybe. It'd be nice if that were the case, but the haze in the depths of my heart refused to clear up. Okay, you know what? This is going to be a little bit on the shorter end of an episode, because I kind of want to try and have these episodes end at basically those chapter ending parts. I guess that's the best way to describe them. Well, I guess they're not technically chapters, are they? Because aren't we technically in, went from like the prologue or something to chapter 1 now? I guess technically these are supposed to be acts within the chapter. But nonetheless, you guys get my point. Basically, when it does that whole little effect where it transitions from sort of one setting to another between acts, I guess is the best way to put it. Those are sort of where I want to try and have the episodes end for the most part. So, yeah, like I said, this is going to be a little bit on the shorter end of an episode. I'm generally just going to shoot for those. Once those show up, the episodes will end. Unless that makes the episode less than like 10 minutes. Then I'll go and try and wait till the next one occurs. But yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and save. And I will see you guys next week. Well, for me, it's 2 weeks from now. I'll be recording an episode February 1st, but that's when this goes up. You guys will then see whatever I record on February 1st go up on February 8th. Also, as a quick reminder, I will be posting these links early onto my Patreon, or links to these videos early onto my Patreon. Generally, I'll be shooting for about 24 hours early. But they will be, at the very least, early. Even if sometimes that ends up being only by a couple hours. But nonetheless, that is the way I've decided to go ahead and do it. So, like I said, if you want to go ahead and watch the episodes early, you can head on over to my Patreon. I will be doing this all the way... I started doing it here in January, but due to me shifting my uploading schedule a little bit, I've decided to extend it into February. So, until February 8th. Yeah, February 8th. I will be... Or 28th, excuse me. Not 8th. 28th. I will be posting links to all my regular uploads. That means this, Star Trek Online, Tom Clancy's End War, that stuff. The stuff that I basically try to normally upload on Tuesday through Friday. Yeah, like I said. And those will be going up early. I'm going to shoot for 24 hours early. And of course, if you enjoy the content and you want to help support the channel, feel free to go ahead and become a patron. Even if it's at the $1 a month tier, it does add up over time, especially if many people end up doing it. And honestly, even one person doing it can quite easily lead to other people doing it, because they'll see that others are doing it, so they want to hop in on the fun. Best way to put it. So even if only one person does it, once this episode goes up, that could quite easily spiral to other people deciding to do it. But I'll see you guys next week. For you guys it's next week. But until then, goodbye and farewell. And actually, I should say, I will have a link to my Patreon in the description if you want to become one. But nonetheless, goodbye, until next week, and farewell.